Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Glindo and welcome to another Autodesk Inventor tutorial. Today we're going to quickly look at assembling our cars with some authenticity towards the size of our axles. What do I mean by that? Well, basically our axles will need to be made to the right size to fit our vehicles, and we can actually calculate how big they need to be in the virtual workspace that is 3D modeling, because we have created everything to size, and within this 3D space we can then use a measuring tool and inspection tool to work out the total size we need. To start with, let's find that tool. It's under the Inspect tab, and then in the Measure panel here we select Distance. Now the two distances our axles need to cover is the distance across the body and then into each wheel axle housing. So across the body of the car would also need to include the surface of our grommets. So this would be surface 1 to measure and then surface 2. And you can see there that that distance is being displayed as 27 millimeters. Now we need to know how far these axles then continue on into our wheel housings for the axle. And so what I would do is try to rotate my view around until I could see inside my wheel. You notice suddenly that our vehicle becomes in the way. One of the convenient things that we can do in our virtual space is just pretend it's not there by changing it from visible to invisible. I'm going to right click here on this body and go visibility unchecked, and now it's gone. Using the distance tool, zooming in, rotating a bit further till I can actually click on the bottom of the axle hole, and then selecting the top, I can see the distance here is 12 millimeters. Now these are not custom wheels, these are wheels I've designed myself, and I happen to know that that 12 millimeters is the same across all 4 wheels, but it's something I would check between the front and back designs of your own vehicles. Going back into our vehicle now and making that visible just to make sure it's there really. I'm going to go and create a custom part. Now I've gone File New and created part 1 here, and all I'm going to do is start a new sketch. And then from any axis, it doesn't matter too much, I'm going to select the circle tool after sketching and create a circle of 3 millimeters. Finishing this 2D sketch and right clicking, going extrude, automatically picks up the single profile I've got. I'm going to go symmetric for simplicity. I'm going to type in that initial width we had between the two grommets of 27, then I'm going to add to it, and this is where your bod mass or bed mass and your mathematics comes into this sort of stuff. 12 multiplied by 2, because we need to go into 2 wheels in brackets, and that makes sure that that's the only thing affected. I do it this way because it means that I can go back and edit something if my wheel changes and I know exactly what my formula is doing. I don't need to think about it. Whereas if I added that in my head or maybe on a calculator, I'm not showing my working like in a regular maths problem. That can be considered a little bit frustrating then for someone who doesn't know it so well, or if you haven't looked at it for a while, to go back and try and work out what it's all about. I'm going to go Save As. I'm going to change this to Axle. Saving it now, going back to my assembly, going Assemble, Place Component, selecting my axle, and just placing 2 in roughly the right area in this viewpoint. I'm going to constrain that in now. With the constraint, one of the things I'm going to make sure I do is actually constrain that surface there to the inside again of this axle hole, which will probably mean I need to make this invisible all over again. Not too hard now that we know how. Thank you for listening. This was another Autodesk tutorial